Good evening, everybody. It is a very rainy night here in Miami in the month of May. This is the month of awakening creativity. I'm so excited that we are celebrating the end of May with an extraordinary person. Her name is Jennifer Diliz, and she's here to help us learn more about mastering healthy habits in May. So I'm excited to introduce her to you. Before we go on, as you all know, those who've been tuning in to Manifesting with Meg for all these months, we definitely start being very intentional. So I always ask my guests to set an intention. The way the interview goes is according to or aligned with The Magical Guide to Bliss, my book. And basically, we focus on the fact that bliss is not just an abstract idea. It's actually an attainable state of being. And every guest that I have is going to help guide you to a greater sustainable state of bliss. So without further ado, I'm so happy to have Jennifer join us tonight. This is really wonderful. I'm a big fan of hers. She's a huge animal advocate. So she has so many things going on in her life that I get to share with you all tonight that I'm so excited to do so. Before, once again, I want us to set our intentions. So I always set mine, and at the outset, just set a magical number in your mind, Jen. At the end of the interview, we're going to go to that page in my book, and we're going to read it, and we're going to share that particular intention with the rest of the world, which becomes very magical in and of itself. So
I am so excited.
Are you ready to go?
Let's do this.
So I'm going to introduce you first because it's going to take a little bit to read her bio, which is quite amazing. She certainly has a profoundly great professional career that encompassed more than 18 years of experience in the marketing, PR, and nonprofit industries. And of course, we have her dog. Which dog is this one, Jen?
This is Sophie.
Oh, so we got Sophie tonight. So Sophie is our second special guest, which I'm happy to have her join us. And Sophie is what kind of dog? Can you introduce that?
Sophie's a Lhasa Apso. I don't know if you can hear my other little one down there crying. She wants to come up too.
She wants to be on the show. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're so scared because it's raining. So since it's raining, they're all just kind of like, flipping out. So Sophie's one of my older ones, and she's just a little shaky, and it's thundering and it's lightning, so they're like, what?
Oh my God! So Sophie, was she an adopted pet that you?
Yeah, all of my guys are adopted. I rescue. Oh my God! Do you hear that thunder?
I do. I hear it. Oh my God! I'm surprised my dogs aren't screaming right now in terror.
As long as the lights don't go out on us, now we get thunder. Do we always get a message from above when we're together?
That is very exciting, right? That is absolutely true. Certainly, that when we first met each other, Jen, that was in fact the case when we went into Neiman Marcus, and the lights all went out when we were basically sitting down. So let's knock on wood and hope that really doesn't happen tonight, so we can keep this wonderful connection going. And certainly, I get to, like I said, introduce you and your beautiful animals to the world. So let me go on and give a brief introduction, and then we'll have you share with us anything that I missed, because I know there's probably so much more even than on this page. So she's the founder of Midnite Communications. It's a PR marketing and events firm, as well as the founder of the Pet Squad, which she was indicating as well, that she animal rescues with the dogs. And do you do cats as well, or just dogs?
I rescue any life. It doesn't matter, but it's just like the Pet Squad, and I kind of started the Pet Squad because do I go into this now, or do you want to keep going and introducing me, or do I talk about the Pet Squad?
And then we'll go, because I'm just getting super excited about this.
Okay,
ahead of myself. So she basically involved with the Pet Squad, a nonprofit that pairs experienced pet owners with new pet owners to help with the transition of a new pet in the home. She's also leading her team of MONAT, right? MONAT?
Yeah.
Okay.
MONAT, yeah.
MONAT entrepreneurs, and has reached the managing market builder rank in 3 months. Prior to that, she was a SwatchGroup, where she handled the marketing PR for the U.S. and Caribbean for Longines.
Longines, yes.
And previously, she held a tenure at the Marlins Community Foundation, where she served as a development director. And prior to that, YMCA of Greater Miami, as the director of annual giving and special events. Literally, you've been, like you said, involved in marketing, PR, nonprofits, the works with regard to your 18-year plus career. You're an avid rescuer, like I indicated, on numerous occasions, served on event committees for nonprofit organizations throughout South Florida. Some of these include Make-A-Wish, Pause for You rescue Special Olympics, Mission International Rescue, the Miami Science Museum, Gene Spotlight, the Bonacani Fund to Cure Paralysis, Voices for Children, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So clearly, you are definitely a woman of service, especially in the community that we live in Miami. You recently were chosen as one of the 12 Hispanic women of distinction, which I'm going to show this because this is something that's coming up soon. So I want to show her. I'm sorry?
This is in August.
In August, right. So you got honored, and you will be honored during the month held in August, correct? You will be honored. Yeah. You've also been featured in several publications for your work in the rescue field. You graduated from FIU, the Bachelor of Science from the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and a minor in psychology. You're fluent in English and Spanish, and you live in Miami with me and with your rescue dogs, Sophie, Ginger, Nala, Chloe, Grayson, and her cat Beeb. So you have a full house there, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's like party of what?
Oh my God.
5, 6, 7.
Oh
so it's 7 of us.
and now my Luciana is talking to us all. She hears the thunder and she's going crazy as well. Yeah. So good evening, Jen. Now I get to have, thank you so much. You're extraordinary in what you do, and I can't wait to have this extraordinary conversation. You have quite a resume. I don't know if I missed anything above. You're certainly welcome to fill in, but you certainly had a successful career up until now. I'm definitely busy, and fill it in. Tell me a little bit more about yourself in your own words.
Oh my gosh. It's been a ride. I think one of the things that I love the most has been that I've been able to diversify in so many different areas. When I actually, I don't know if you know this about me, but what I really wanted to do growing up was be an attorney.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I wanted to be like you because you are an attorney. And so I really always wanted to be an attorney. And I just kind of realized, what if law school doesn't pan out right after for me? Or what if, life takes a different turn? So I had started doing poli-sci, and then I said, I really want to help with people. I interned in DC for a whole summer. I didn't love what I saw up there. And I said, this is not what I want to be. This is not, I can have more of an impact having a larger message and not in this realm. So I found communications, or communications found me, I should say. And then the rest was history. But with communications and marketing and PR and events, I've been able to diversify into so many different things, from the literary world to the events, the celebrities, the movies, and rescue is my passion. And giving back is really my passion. And rescue animals are just such a big part of my life. So,
I often follow you on Instagram at J Diliz on Instagram, right?
J Diliz.
Right, Diliz, sorry. On Instagram. And I always see you whenever you're on a mission to save a dog. I'm like, I got to help this lady, because honestly, maybe you don't know that's about me, but my sisters and I used to say when we were younger that we were going to open up a farm for animals and just have dogs running wild and have so many. So basically, you're essentially doing kind of tantamount to that in Miami, what you can do, right? And as what we were wanting to do. So I'm definitely someone who's a complete advocate as well. And I'm love to, help. I can't bring them all into my house, but certainly, support those who go above and beyond like you do. I just want to point out right now that 3 comments. Andrew Douche says, I have a new pet tiger. Please advise how long I now need to grow my mullet. So he's alluding to the Tiger King. We have another one that you can't change animals' past. This is Mike Spatola, but you can change an animal's future, which is what you're precisely doing. Jennifer's amazing, Sylvia Parasa, and then looking beautiful ladies, my friend Diliz. So people definitely love the topic of, certainly rescuing animals, people who serve the community like you and nonprofits. And I have something here that I want to point out too, because this is definitely your happy place. I can tell this beautiful red couch with all your beautiful animals on it. So everyone gets a little peek into your children. I get it. I have my 2 4-leggeds that I absolutely adore, and I couldn't imagine my life without them. And certainly I don't want to anytime soon. So knock on wood. But keeping that in mind, I just wanted to, get you to tell us in your own words about your life experience, in addition to what you just said, that you want to be a lawyer, but also, you know, where you are right now and how you've gotten here on your journey, as far as what that looks like in the grand scheme of things, for anyone who's out there listening who might be inspired by that.
You know, I gotta tell you, my journey has been led by faith. My faith is that's my guide, and you know, I keep this by my bed. By the way, this, I keep it by my bed, and every morning I wake up. You probably don't know this, but every morning I wake up, I open to a page. I just, you know, randomly open to a page.
That's awesome.
Just to kind of let the universe talk to me and say, hey, here's kind of this is today's direction. And sometimes you just need to hear it. You just need to kind of get a little bit of a guidance for you for that day. You know, life can get tough. Things can be thrown at you from left field, obviously through the coronavirus. And do we have another guest?
My dog just came out. Well, there you go. Sorry about that. But yeah.
See, he's talking. This is another message. Like, he's like, yes, you do need it. He agrees.
And you know, interestingly enough, Jen, I don't let my dogs out during my interviews, but this one, they insisted.
He was like, I need to be present.
Here. They feel like they're represented, left out.
Yeah. So, you know, animals are so intuitive. They can smell things, you know, 10 times the amount of, it's probably more than that, but they can smell so much more than we can. You know, they're used to treat, you know, kids with diabetes or, you know, epilepsy, or to be able to even smell cancer in somebody. And now they're also training them to be able to smell the coronavirus. Wow. It's when someone's infected. So obviously they are so keen, and their senses are so much more augmented than ours are, that I always say, you know, when they're around, I feel like everything's going to be okay, because they just know what's happening. They know their energies are just so on point, you know.
I've often referred to my beautiful dogs as my animal guides. Literally, they watch over me, like with the extra eyes that, you know, God put, like they say dogs spelled backward is God, right? So
yeah, I say that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. You know, like we were saying, you're right. They're so intuitive. They know, and they certainly, you know, show up when you most expect it, or you least expect it, but most need it. So definitely God sent, for sure. You know, I wanted to delve into our theme today, because I think it's perfect for what you're doing now with your new company that you're working with, and it's mastering a healthy habit. And I think that, you know, the quote of the day is even more perfect, because it's the motivation guru, Tony Robbins, who says repetition is the mother of all skill. And really, it is true that, you know, more times you do something very positive in your life, it becomes more like in the neural pathways of your brain, etched in there. And whatever comes from there is from a better place than it was before, once you keep going, perseverance. And I know certainly with your MONAT goals that you're helping to help other people find healthy experiences, healthy habits of self-care, so that they feel better about themselves. Certainly your hair in and of itself, since the MONAT line is a lot of hair products, as well as I think there's skincare too, correct?
Yeah, it's hair care, it's anti-aging hair care, and skincare as well.
So it's the whole shebang. So actually, when you feel good, taking care of yourself, then you can present in the world as a different person, literally, because of that self-care component and that feel good constantly that you keep reiterating in your life by establishing or mastering a healthy habit. Certainly in your life, that's probably catapulted your life to where you are right now, certainly on the success path you've taken, and especially during the challenging times. How can you speak to, first of all, the company, because I know that you're clearly aficionada or passionate about what you're doing in that respect too, as well as the pet care, pet animal rescue, but also this, because I'm watching a lot of the things coming up on your feed, really passionate about the company, about the women you work with, the people that you work with, and just speak to that a little bit as well, because I can tell that you're really excited about it.
So MONAT is anti-aging hair care and skincare, and I started with the company in February. simply because, as, like Tony Robbins said, you got to do things 10 times. You got to see things 10 times, right? Like in marketing, we also have like the rule of 7. You got to see something 7 times or do something 7 times before the brain actually recognizes it and sees it and realizes that it's there. Okay, Sophia, come up. But sit. So in trying to just diversify income and diversify different streams, the production world, TV world, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're low. So you're in really the millionaire mind is really about having different streams of income. So this opportunity was presented to me, and I thought, I've always loved hair. I've always said, some people do yoga, I do my hair. That's always been I've always said that. So my guilty pleasure is going to go get my hair done every week. Obviously, I've been doing it on my own for the past 3 months now. So it just made sense. I was just like, what a beautiful brand, what a beautiful, just, it's vegan, it's cruelty free. They don't do animal testing, which for me was huge in order to get behind it, because obviously with rescuing, I could not get behind a company that did animal testing.
Yeah.
They really have very little, like they have no toxins, no parabens, no SLS, no sulfates. So for me, it was all about the fact that it's such a clean product. They don't do animal testing, and it's something that everybody uses, right? It's shampoo.
Yeah.
So you got to wash your hair. Like if there's one thing you're always going to need to do, if you're not bald, you're going to wash your hair.
Yeah.
It also helps tremendously with hair growth because it has certain ingredients like Capsule that helps tremendously with hair growth. And the beauty industry, I've just always loved. I've had clients in the beauty industry, so I've always been very near to it. And I just thought, what a great way to just like become a rep to this company and add another source of income. And the community behind it, Meg, the amount of women that, like, I see them, and I want you to come to one of our conferences and speak to all of them, because you would just be speaking to our souls and our heart because of of what you do, and the community of women that support each other. We all work together and we all compete, but we don't compete. We compete with the market, not ourselves.
That's awesome.
So we're constantly, we usually send in our chats or in our team meetings, we usually have an intention. Like today, we'll have one. We usually listen to podcasts that are, that are going to help you, that are motivational, that are going to help you grow. They're going to grow your soul, because the one thing that misery loves is company.
Yeah.
And I do not want misery to be my company.
I think
right?
Quarantine might have clarified that if anyone out there is curious as to whether or not they want to continue in any kind of miserable state, that basically at this point we're all good. So I'm with you on that for sure. I don't want misery. I love that you say that you're collaborating with these women in competition with the market. That's amazing. I think that is an incredible way of supporting each other toward each other's goals. And I think that's fantastic. And I wanted to point out this because this is something I saw too that you had posted. Stop watching and start doing you. Live your own journey. And I was like, that is amazing. Tell me what you were thinking behind that, because I think that it certainly plays out in your life, but educate everyone else as to who you are and why you would be like around something like that.
I wrote that actually just came to mind, and I wrote it and I said, I got to share this. I just kind of got chills and goosebumps reading that again, because I feel like that's such a powerful statement to say to somebody, because a lot of times people tend to stand in the sidelines and they tend to just like watch. And it's kind of like paralysis of analysis. You just sit there wondering and thinking like, do I do it? Do I not do it?
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Stop watching. Like, do you. Like, just get up and go. Stop looking at what the other person's doing. Live your own journey, because we, like all of us girls that are in this Monet business, we all have our own journey. We all have our paths. We all have our networks. We all have our reach, we all have our personalities. We all have our own identities, our own light, our own shine. So when I wrote that, I was really just talking, in general, to like saying, get off the sidelines, get in the game, do you, like, whatever game you want to be in, whichever walk of life you want to be in, but get up and go and do it. Because like you are a prime example of this. Like, you are so living your own journey. Like,
pretty much.
When I met you, you were in a completely different, space, place, mindset. Everything was so different for you.
Yeah.
And you took a chance. And, I always say this, I'm like, listen, go balls to the wall. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
If you're not going to get arrested, you're good. Do it.
It's like, don't get arrested. We don't support that on this wonderful show. But on the same note, what you're saying is huge. It's like you're telling people who might be like, just, it's funny because in this society that we live in, and I see this with my kids as well, people watch influencers, right? All the time. They're constantly following other people but they don't, it's interesting because it doesn't seem like those people engage you to step out of your comfort zone and go into the world of your dreams and actually realize what is actually waiting for you out there. And I think that when I read this, I was like, oh, that's perfect. Stop watching and start doing you. Live your own journey. Because at the end of the day, that, literally, we know this now. I mean, certainly what we're facing with now in the world is, who knows when that will be, hopefully it'll be later than sooner. And the bottom line is that, don't put your dreams off to tomorrow, what you can do today. And what is that you're doing? You're actually engaging with other women to encourage them to do the same, which is amazing, Jen. I really think that's amazing. And plus that benefit, that comes from the mutual success that you work together, collaborate together, at the end of the day, everybody seems to thrive instead of like envy, there's no monster jealousy.
No. And the way, the other thing I love about this business is that we are all tied together. I can't grow if my team doesn't grow. So if my ladies or my girls because I have some guys on my team, if my army does not, so it's kind of like, I kind of look at it like no man left behind. They're like semper fi of me, because I also wanted to join. I actually wanted to be a JAG. I wanted to be an attorney in the Navy.
Military. There you go. Another thing I did not know.
I wanted to be an attorney in the military, so I wanted to be a JAG. But I always say, there's no man left behind in this company. We're all going to grow together. I literally cannot rank up or move up in the company unless my team is coming up with me. Wow. So it's my job to also, work with them, inspire them, coach them. Yeah. You become the leader that you were always meant to be. Because I always say that everyone has leading capabilities. Yeah. You just have to kind of like zip it down, step out of your shell, walk out, and just do it. Like, just I feel like a Nike commercial. Just do it.
I do love that what you said. I'm writing it down on the feed because I really want people to really take that home. Become the leader that you've always been meant to.
Become the leader you were always meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny because you don't need permission, literally. You don't need permission. You just need an invitation, right? I don't think that, everybody's waiting for someone to give them the, okay, you're okay now, step on inside. It's like everyone's invited to come to the party, figure out what you love, and then start to do that. Yeah. And set your own path. And I think that that's what you're doing with both the pet rescue, your nonprofits, and now with MONAT. And the thing is, I follow, literally, you have very glamorous lifestyle. I love, picture is definitely something you will see more commonly on Jen's Instagram posts, her Facebook feed, all these glamorous people showing up. Definitely glamour Miami for sure. And with regard to your success on your path and your career, this is, something that you enjoy too, being around, the good efforts toward a good cause, literally. And I don't know what this event was, but I was like, wow, it looks awesome. I just love the dresses. I was like, I gotta put there.
That was actually the billboards or the Grammy. Was the billboard? I think it was the Billboard Awards, the Latin billboards. Yes, it was Latin billboards here in Miami. And that was with some of my cast from the show Enamorándonos that I produce on. I do some I do all the field producing for that show, and that was some of the contestants on the show that were looking for love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What is it in English? The name of the
Enamorándonos is falling in love. It's basically a dating show. Yeah, and Unimas, which is the sister station to Univision. So that was everybody that was just some of the cast members, and obviously everybody was in their super glammed out outfits, but.
Well, you definitely know style. Ever since I met you, I knew that was about you. You definitely knew style. You were well put together. But I do love the sentiment behind what your foundationals are, your values, is really that you care about the people that you're working with. Certainly, everything is a business, but at the same time, like you said, and I like to hear that focus on what you're doing. Oh, there's another one. Which one is this one?
This is Chloe.
Oh, Chloe. Okay.
Yeah,
Chloe's showing up now. We had Sophie so far, and
Sophie, and this is Chloe. They're finally kind of just resting. They're just hanging out on the sofa. Let's leave them there.
Their anxiety's gotten the best of them, so they're just like chilled out a little bit now, right? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
And I was also going to point out this little guy, because this is definitely speaks to
Oh my gosh! Okay, so this is literally one of the reasons why I started the Pet Squad. So in doing rescue, I realized that a lot of times people are trying to give up, a dog because they're going through a really, really tough life moment. And as the saying goes, this too shall pass. And there is nothing like one day after the other. This is something I also learned in baseball. Oh my God, my lights just went off.
Oh.
Thanks, Meg. Thanks. It's all you, boo. This is all you.
Well, there's a story behind that. When I first met Jen did behind my book, The Magical Guide to Bliss. She's the one who organized my book launch at Neiman Marcus. And the first meeting that I had with Jen, the two of us walk into Neiman Marcus, this huge place over in Bal Harbor, and we sat down in the office of one of the individuals who was going to help us out, set it all out, and the entire place, like the entire store went off, right, Jen? It was completely dark.
As we were talking about the planning of the book,
yes,
and the whole thing and why the book came about and everything, and your mom was just with us that day. Like, well, your mom was with you every day, but she was just with us. And literally earlier we were talking before getting on just to kind of catch up, and we're like, let's just hope lights don't go off again.
There you go.
Well, there we go.
Well, it could be your grandmother too, right? Because I know that she.
It could be, yeah, it could be my grandmother. I love her.
Because there are these really powerful women in the world who are watching us now from the other side of the veil. So we definitely have that in common. And so Oliver was one of the things that brought you to actual rescue in the first place?
No, so Oliver was one of the little dogs that I just recently posted that needed to be rehomed. So back to the Pet Squad. So the reason why I founded the Pet Squad, because in rescue, I started realizing how a lot of times people that were needing to give up their pet was because they were in a really tough life situation. And they thought they couldn't make it work. They thought that it was unfair to the animal. They just thought that it just, the animal deserved a better home. Mm. And a lot of times we just need to be talked off the ledge, because when you're really stressed out, when you're in a really difficult life situation, when life has had like 3 trucks drive over you and kind of like hit you and hit you and hit you, and you feel like there's no way I can get back up, because life can do that to us.
Yeah.
This poor girl was like, I've been through all this. And I said to her, I understand that you are right now feeling really overwhelmed. You feel like you can't take care of Oliver. You feel like you can't keep him. But he's been with you since he was a baby. You've had him since he was, he's 6 years old now, and you've had him this entire time.
Wow.
So the baby's going to grow up, she has a human baby, and she just was like, this is too much for me. I can't handle it. And I said to her, look, the baby's going to grow up. The baby will be a year in no time, in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Just breathe and just, meditate and just breathe it out. And this too shall pass. And I promise you, you will regret giving him up. If it's your ultimate decision, I am here to make sure that we find them the right home and the right fit.
Right.
But I don't want you to regret this.
Yeah.
So we had that call. And she said, no, I'm sure. And I was that was like on a Monday or Tuesday. Come Saturday, I'm supposed to go pick him up. And I call her and I say, hey, I'm just letting me know if you're ready. I'm ready to come pick him up. Do you have all his stuff picked up? Can I come over?
Yeah.
And she said, no, I can't do it.
Oh, wow.
I can't do it. After our conversation and listening to everything you said,
wow,
you were so right. You put things into such perspective. He kind of knew what was going on. I was starting to pick up his things. And I start, she said, I get emotional because then she says, I started getting teary eyed and I started crying and I just couldn't fathom, like, he's my family. How can I give up? He's not my child, but he's like my child. I had him before I had the baby. He's been with me for 6 years through thick and thin. How could I possibly give him up? And I said, it's okay. You just had to come to that realization on your own time. So I'm just here to make sure that either A, you come to that, or B, if at the end you really do need to give him up, then that's fine. We find him a good, solid home that will give him all the love and all the care that he deserves.
Right.
And you've been able to give him, but now you feel you no longer can.
Wow.
And Meg, life can just do a number on us, and it can put us in a place where you feel like you're being choked.
Yeah. And
you can't breathe. But if you kind of just step back for a minute and really look at things from a outside of your own picture,
yeah,
you can see the entire picture.
Right.
When you're in the frame, you can't look to the side and see everything else around you and behind you.
Right.
You really step back for a minute and say, wow, what was I thinking? What was I doing? Let me just breathe. It's not as bad as it actually seems.
Right.
Then you're no longer drowning. You're no longer choking.
Well,
and then you can really see what you have ahead of you to move forward to.
But that she trusted listening to you to the point where she processed that information is quite important as well, because, you took the time and you actually gave her the space to be heard and to actually probably nobody, because if she's got a baby, maybe nobody is paying attention to her. She's just basically being there as a nurturer for everybody. And she just needed to take something off her plate. And the fact that you gave her the space to take the stress off her plate, it opened up the space to see that this too shall pass, what you said, and gave her perspective, which I'm sure that psychology is a part of communications, is a part of marketing, is a part of everything. And
it is. It really is.
Yes.
I mean, you're dealing with humans at the end of the day, and sometimes you just need someone to hear you out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need someone to, sometimes you just need to let yourself hear it out loud too, because sometimes when it's all in your head and you never get to verbalize all of it. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm not.
She agreed.
She agreed.
Oh my God.
So I said to her, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. I'm just here to give you some perspective as to what can or would happen should you decide this ultimately. But just think about it, because once you make that step of giving them up, there's no going back. And then that regret that you're going to feel will set in. So if you're dead set on it, I'm here to support you 100%. I'm not here to judge you. You've been through a divorce. You've been through a lot. You have a baby.
Yeah.
We're in this quarantine time. You must be emotionally completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Completely, just you don't even know. Do you even get up in the morning? Do you even have the strength to get up in the morning? And she was like, how do you even know? And I'm like, because I know, because it's okay to feel that way.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of you're not alone. There are other people that feel the same way. And so the Pet Squad came out of realizing that a lot of times pet owners get overwhelmed. And it's not the same thing to give up a dog than it is to give up a child.
Right.
Although they might want to give up the child instead of the dog, they can't.
I may say that.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So obviously the first thing to go is the pet, because it's the easiest, the easiest stress to take out of the picture, right? You just take out the pet, no more barking, no more. And in the end, they're really they're the least thing that gives you the least amount of stress at times,
Right.
It's the easiest. It's kind of like the low hanging fruit. Oh, what's the first thing I can get rid of to lessen my plate? Oh, my dog.
Yeah.
Well, it actually might not be that stressful. You might need to get rid of your husband first.
Yeah, interestingly, that might be the case at the end of quarantine. If you're lucky, maybe not. But I think it's interesting because I think the component between the animals and also the whole foster, because you take them to foster families too,
to
try to get them to, and I know people who are watching this, have fostered animals before, where they've given them a safe place to get them through the hunt, where they can find a permanent home that's really suitable. I think that's amazing too. But you've actually established a network at this point, right? You have many people who work with you now.
Yeah, I've been doing this now for 6 years. 6 years, like really, I mean, I've always rescued. Anytime I've come across an animal on the road or whatever, I've always picked it up. And Lord knows, my mother, I'd have to call her and say, hi, so when you come home today, just call me. Let me know when you're outside, because there might be. And she's like, what did you bring home now?
Oh, that's so funny.
It's not an elephant. Don't worry. It fits inside.
Oh my God, Lord knows. That's very cool.
So yeah, so I'm grateful, and that I've been able to build a great network of people that are very caring, that are very and that want to help somebody else, because we got to be a voice for those that are voiceless, right?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
A lot of people, I love children's charities also, because they can't defend themselves. For me, animals, the elderly, and children, those are my buttons. Like, those are the ones that, are just so near and dear to me, because they don't have a voice. So, we need to be able to stand up for them.
Well, so you've actually turned into the advocate without being like legally the advocate, literally, because that's what lawyers do. They advocate for other people, and you found a way to do what is calling you at the same time, representing those things that you're passionate about, which I think this is just perfect. And especially, what you just said with Oliver's parent, helping them to understand, at least being heard, and then let them make the decision based upon the information they have, which I think is amazing. One of the other things about this show that I love is that I get to introduce extraordinary people that I've met over the years and highlight what they have done and their ability to really serve. And in doing so, perhaps, to anyone who's listening who has some sort of interest in any of the above, certainly nonprofits and all the things that you do with that, as well as the pet rescue, the pet squad, and your company that you're working with now, all these things that your passion projects, and also your marketing firm, things like that, you might be able to inspire them, certainly mastering through repetition those things like dedication, perseverance, that help build your skill, develop your skill. So what do you think is the one thing that you really can hang on your hat on that has helped you move forward in life to show up as the person that you've always wanted to be?
Oh my gosh. I've said this all my life. Persistence eliminates resistance.
I like that. That's good.
So I've always said that. I've always said, practice does not make perfect. It makes permanent.
Oh, I like that too.
When you do something enough times, I know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So no, not that. But I've always said that, persistence does eliminate resistance. You're either going to do it because you want me to shut up and you want me to stop bugging you about it.
It does. A squeaky wheel gets the grease, literally, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I've always said it, if you just persevere and you don't give up, you will win in the end, because something will shift, and it might take somebody a little bit longer than the other person, but there's this little image which I wish I would have sent you.
Oh, I wish I would, because I would have put it in there.
But it's just picture this, right? And this is just because this is very faith-based for me. But there's a little girl holding a little teddy bear this big, right? and she's hanging on to it for dear life. And there's Jesus right in front of her, and he's extending his hand and he's saying, give it to me. And she's like, but I want it, and he's got his other hand with a way bigger teddy bear behind it, right?
Yeah.
So like, you just gotta trust the process and have faith. You really never know what's in store for you. So if you just kind of sometimes let go of one thing, you might get 10 in return. You might open up that door for more blessings and more abundance and more of everything else that you're wishing upon your life. And mindset is so important. Everybody goes to the gym, but no one works this out. This right here, guys, your brain. Nobody works out the brain. And your brain is your computer chip, right? So if you've got a virus in there and you let a virus inside your brain, your computer does not work, right? So neither will your brain. You will go into toxicity. You will go into, self-shaming. You will go into self-loathing. You will go into self-sabotaging. Mm-hmm. You will go into the dark, deepest ends of the mind because you're not working it out. And when you work it out, it's basically listen to positive podcasts. Listen, grab a book. Mm. I literally grab this book every day. People, are you watching? I grab this book every day, and I turn to a page and I just read it and let it speak to me. And if you're really open and willing to let the universe talk to you and you read the signs on the wall, that song, I saw the sign.
Oh, yes.
I saw the sign.
It's Ace of Base, right?
It's real. Just listen, but you got to exercise your brain. You got to listen to positive messages. You've got to, listen to, to Meg or to Tony Robbins or to, Les Brown or to, Joel Osteen or whatever, or anybody that's even, I love Pastor Rich Jr. at VU Church. Like any of these people that are going to give you fuel.
Yeah.
To move forward, not fire to burn you down.
I love that.
Fuel to move forward. That is what you have to feed into your life, your soul, your brain, because your mindset is what sets you in motion.
That's awesome. I love that you said fuel to move you forward, not fire to burn you down. I think that really important. I think many people, when they actually start to shift into something actually empowering and then get your mind moving and move that toxic energy, they can realize then they can start to be the inspiration. They can start to inspire from the place of where it is that you find your passion, which I think is clearly what it is that you do and in the stream that you do. Like, look, I agree with you. If you're going to show up in this world, there's two ways to do it. You can drain people or you can boost people. And I think that with regard to that, if you're feeling, and we were talking about this today too, because I felt that this is totally inspired by what you're saying right now, is that if you're feeling like one of my very close friends says there's a statement, you can like run it by you. If it's halt, you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, then stay away from anyone who's going to bring you down to another place that's going to be worse than where you are. If you're feeling inspired, and if you're feeling that burst of boost that you start your first part of your day with, then when you go out into the world, because you're taking care of your mind, like you're talking about, then it's a whole different experience out there. And everything that you come into contact with, it changes altogether, which I love that you said there's three things. I honestly, fuel to move you forward, not the fire to burn you down. Now, this is one of the reasons why I love these conversations, because I get the little gems too, which I love. So how do you think we can best engage others to step up and empower themselves to start to make the shift to master a healthy habit at this point? Because I know that you're saying shift your mindset, but that next step, that push to get them out there to say, okay, now is the day. I'm going to start, who knows, 21 days of something that hopefully at the end of that is going to make me, feel different about my life.
One of the things that we talk a lot about with this company, with MONAT, when I started it, it was the why. Okay. What is your why? And why do you want to shift? Why do you want to change? Is it because, it's like, how everybody has a gym membership, but nobody goes to the gym because like there's all these like sleeper drafts, which I'm part of that, people. one of them. Pay the gym every day, every month, and I only get reminded when that draft comes to my bank account, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the gym. So what is it gonna take for me to go to the gym? I just gotta get up, put on my gym clothes, and drive to the gym, walk through those doors, and get on a treadmill or whatever. But I gotta do the work, and you gotta know your why. Because is it your, do you need to pay your bills? Do you want to, get rid of debt? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to do something better for your children? Do you want your children to go to a better school? Do you want to better yourself? What is your why? Do you want to buy your mom a house? Do you want to retire? What is your why? Why do you want to shift? And until you have a very clear why and you're willing to do the work, it's not easy. Nobody said it was easy, people. It is not easy. You got to get up, you got to show up, and you got to engage.
Get up, show up, engage. I like that. I like three.
Show up, engage.
I like.
If you're laying in bed all day long, which was very easy to do during quarantine. Yeah. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. This weekend I did all of that. I worked from my bed. I worked on my phone. I did my postings, but I was sitting in bed. And sometimes you gotta kind of rest, but if you don't get up, you don't get out of bed. If you let, the world just kind of like land on you and you don't push back and say, you're not going to push me down. I am going to push back at you. You will never get up, show up, and engage. You got to engage. Life is not a spectator sport.
I like that. And
right.
But the interesting thing is that the way things are set up nowadays, with everything being like in this social media world and internet, it can feel like a spectator sport because perhaps that's what the malaise is all about, But when you engage, you realize that you can be a part of the solution. You can be a part of your own process. And then I think everything changes. So I love that you're saying that. That is a wonderful way to start mastering a healthy habit, is like just taking the first step, get up, show up, and engage. That's wonderful advice. So like I said, these conversations can be catalysts. I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you. Go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say, everybody's doing a live nowadays, right?
Right.
So yeah, we can decide whether we want to look and watch at someone else's live, or after you watched a live and you learned from it,
yes,
do your own.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yeah.
Engage your audience, engage your people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to learn from others, but don't watch, turn it off, and then go away and then continue watching Netflix. Yeah. Because Netflix is not going to give you anything to build you. It's only going to bill you. It's not going to build you.
That is true.
To build you, it's not going to build you. So watch the lives you want to watch. Whether it's us talking about this or anybody else that's going to inspire you, but really feed your soul, feed your mind, and then engage and and talk. Don't be afraid to talk. Let your voice be heard.
I want to jump on that point because I think it's very important. I think that yes, you do pay attention to people that inspire you to move forward. At the same time,
I have dog hair.
I was like, I think she's got dog hair.
I've got dog hair, people. This is what happens on a live.
Oh, how funny. That's great.
Sorry, go on.
I think, that's perfect that we're talking about animals and then, yes, the animals are joining you. But literally, like, I think what you're saying is they're perfect is you watch people do their thing, but figure out those things that make you come to life as you watch them. So you're paying attention to those little things. And instead of waiting till the perfect moment to show up, just do it. Like, really, what do you got to lose at that point? And I think that, that is what really these kind of conversations can be the catalyst for other people to start to manifest their life, so that it could be that spark, and then the spark will move you forward like the fire. So I would love for you to share with us what is important now on this journey of yours. This is manifesting time for you.
This is the most. So I've been on a long, I've been on a journey, as you know. We seek some of the same things, right, to grow.
Yes.
And one of the things that I just want to keep doing is growing. I did come to a point in my life where I had a huge loss, And no one teaches us to grieve. No one teaches us how to handle that kind of emotion. It's very difficult to handle it, and it can stump you. It can stump you. It can hold you back. It can literally like just paralyze you. And I felt paralyzed for a very long time, and until I finally kind of just came out of it. And in the journey, you know, I kept looking for ways to figure out a way to move past it, to figure out how to deal with all that emotion, because life is always going to happen to us, right? We're never going to just be, it's not a hunky-dory, you know, utopia doesn't exist, people, unless you're drinking wine for a little bit. And that's as utopic as it gets. But I was very paralyzed, and I thought, how do I get past this? And I looked for help, and I sought out, you know, professionals. I sought out energy and, you know, reading and listening. And I was just exercising my mind and my soul and trying to move past and forward, because I knew I wanted to come out on the other end. I knew I didn't want to stay stuck there. Right. So the work is hard. The work is not easy. And you have to go through it. You have to go through it to get to the other end. You know, it's like when you're building, you got to lay down the right foundation so that when you come up strong, your house doesn't fall on top of you. Right. So right now, I just want to continue growing. I feel like I'm in such a better space. I want happy to continue being part of my life. I want joy to come back in my life. I thought I had lost my joy because I used to tell, and this was my first dog, guys. Like, I'm not talking about anything major for most people, but this was my first doggy. Cosmo was my soulmate. He was my everything. He was with me for 15 and a half years, and he was like my ride or die, my thick, you know, he was like my thick and thin. Like, we were through all of it. So when I lost him, it was my first pet and my first loss as well with an animal. So it was really, really difficult on me. And in coming past it, I'm like, you know what? You don't have to lose your joy. Your joy is still there. Just find it in something else, and you got to find it within first. So I'm just now so forever grateful to having had him in my life, having known him for 15 and a half years, you know, having had my nose licked every morning to wake up at 7 a.m. and I was like, 5 more minutes, Cosmo, please. Like, so, you know, finding that joy where now I have, you know, 5 other like fur children to take, well, 6 with the cat, to take care of, and grow and take all that stuff that's inspired me and that helped me move past it, and hopefully pass it on to somebody else that may be going through the same, you know, through the same situation. Maybe it wasn't a death that they had, but they lost something else, like a marriage or a house, or, you know, loss is difficult. Loss is really difficult to deal with. Yeah. So I think my intention is just, you know, to keep growing past, past anything that's in the past, because the past is in the past. We can't change it. We have to know how to deal with it because it's there, right? It's still there. So just knowing how to continue passing through that, and look forward towards the future, because the present is what it is. It is a gift we have today.
Yeah, I love that.
That's why it's called the present. It is a present. It is a gift. Today, every day is a gift of life, you know? I mean, there's been so much that's happened during this coronavirus. We've had, I mean, I don't know if you've had any people close to you that have passed. I have. And it's incredibly sad to just see all the families, you know. It's sad enough that you lose someone. Imagine how sad it is. You can't be with them. You can't touch them. You can't hold their hand and say goodbye. It's just, it's incredible. It's incredibly difficult. It's an incredibly difficult time.
I have to say on to 2 points, the fact that you find your joy from a sense of loss, you find the purpose in the pain, and that fact that you want to pay that forward and help someone else, you know, navigate the same where you were, and you, like how you found people helped you, you pay it forward and you help others, is really kind of the human experience that we're all here. And like, it spoke to what you were saying before, it's this collaborative process that we're here for each other. And if we can all master that healthy habit, maybe that the world will shift at that point, because we're not forward. Yeah, because we pay it forward, take care of each other, rather than figuring out ways that divide us. We look for the ways that unite us. It's a total different energy, and certainly we help and nurture each other and collaborate away, which I think is amazing. And you certainly values, like I do want
to say, just like you found 417 pages to pay it forward.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping to pay it forward one day at a time. I just have like a 365-day guide here.
Oh my God, you're so funny. You know, the thing is that the fact that you figure out a way to help, well, you helped me do my book launch. So, and I was like, okay, I have this book. What am I going to do with it? And you were able to help me figure out a way to get my baby out into the world in such a way that, you know, was surrounded by butterflies at Neiman Marcus, which is certainly my totem animal. So how could that be more perfect? I don't know what it could be. And how, you know, the artist you introduced me to Hector Prado, and now he did the cover for my next book. So it's this whole, you know, we're totally connected, this interconnected
action. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was just, you know, I just feel like I told you that when we first got on, I was like, hi, who are you? You're like this whole other person. You literally have like become this butterfly. You were like in your little, you know, the whole metamorphosis phase, like in the cocoon, and then like you've just like blossomed. And I've enjoyed so much seeing your journey from, you know, your conferences and the events and everything you do and everything that you put out there, that I was just like, oh my God, like I literally, this sits next to my bed. I had to run upstairs and get it before we started.
You're also mentioned in the back as one of my newest butterflies, because really to launch something like that into the world is a little scary proposition, and like anything new and different, and you have people around you who know a little bit more about it, you learn from, which is certainly a highlight of those best tools and practices that you've used to help others manifest their incredible journeys as well for their future. And you know, it makes, you know, whatever you've gone through in your past worthwhile, so that you can move through and that you can actually show up, like you said, and engage in the way that is aligned to your highest good, your highest purpose. So let's go back to the beginning of the interview when I asked you to set your intention and you picked a number. So what was your intention first, Jen? And then go ahead and read the page that your number is aligned to in the book.
So my intention is just for growth, you know, for us to grow, for whomever's watching to grow. I love how I've seen you grow. You know, you never gave up. You do this every day. You keep at it and you keep doing it. And that's literally like the, you know, do it 10 times. No, do it 100, do it 1,000, do it however many times it takes until you get there. Because guys, you're going to hear no's. You're going to hear the word N-O a lot of times. And guess what? It's a 2-letter word that is damn scary, because those two little letters can be so scary. But yes is 3 letters and it trumps the no. So guess what? You keep going after your yes until you're blue in the face. Do not ever give up.
And you will get your yes, right? Go ahead. So what is it? Yeah.
So my favorite number is 5. So I'm picking number 5 as the page. And it says, oh my God, it's so crazy. So this is January, it lands on January 3rd. And it says, the future is completely open.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
Okay. What a great message, right? It says, do I read the whole page? Do I read the whole thing?
The whole page, everything. It's all your gift from the book to the world. So there you go.
So it says, the future is completely open and we are writing it moment to moment. There is always potential to create an environment of blame or one that is conducive to loving kindness. Have we just not spoken to all of this today?
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
And that's by Pema Chodron, author and Buddhist teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know if I butchered that name. So Meg's writing says, today and every day, you are the one who sets the tone for your life. That is, I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah.
Today and every day, you are the one who sets the tone for your life. You're in charge. This is just me. You're in charge of your own driving seat, guys. So you take the wheel. So everything that has happened in the past is done, overput, finished. A time machine is not available, at least not yet, to take you back in time for a do-over. So let it all go. Instead of dwelling on past losses, seize what you have gained, the wisdom of the lessons learned through experience. This is so crazy. Gather all the confidence you can muster and move forward. The future is completely open. The fact alone is beyond exciting. As long as you live and breathe, you have time to write the best chapters of your life. You decide whether those chapters are filled with anger and blame or with love and kindness. Today is a new day in your journey. Unwritten chapters await you. Decide now to inscribe wonder into what has not yet been written. Redirect the present moment with all that is good, trusting that the future will unfold accordingly. Declare at this moment that you will become a force of love, hope, and joy, and know that the associated rewards for doing so are already yours. Are you ready to experience what awaits you with an attitude of optimism, love, and kindness? Away you go. And the magical key to bliss is get a pen and paper and write out your vision statement. This is so crazy how this has been our whole, like, our entire conversation.
You know what? More crazy is that the theme today is master a healthy habit. So if you know your vision and you understand, like you said, your why, and you move forward with loving kindness, like you were speaking to the whole time, ready to serve and do your part in this world, get up, show up, and engage, then the whole world can change for you. You just empowered yourself to be a part of that change. And I think this is amazing. This is certainly, you know, something that you stand for in your life, in your mission, in everything that you do. And you do it so beautifully. You know, it always is such a delight to see, you know, that energy, that passion out in the world through somebody else. And I'm so glad to share your extraordinariness with the world, Jennifer. I definitely want to put your information in the feed after this is over. But if you do want to contact her, go ahead and give them the contact information if people are more interested in learning about the Pet Squad, MONAT, and all of the wonderful things that you do with your nonprofits.
Yeah, I mean, they can just follow me on Instagram at @Diliz, and, you know, DM me, send me a message. It's kind of, I guess it's kind of the easiest way to just get a hold of me.
Okay, perfect.
Because there's different emails for everything, right? So just send me a DM, a direct message, either on Facebook, on my you know, Jennifer Diliz Facebook page, or on Instagram at @Diliz, and you know, follow me. I'm happy to follow you back. I'm happy to connect. And I just wanted to say something, Meg, that, you know, like sometimes you hear it around, but your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's so powerful, because the higher you elevate yourself, you know, the more that you're going to have these amazing people come into your circle, that are going to help you, you know, continue in that journey. You know, they're going to walk with you. And some of them might, you know, say, hey, I've brought you this far. And then they might leave and somebody else comes and takes you even further. But every person that's part of your journey has a purpose.
Yes.
Everyone has a purpose for your life. And, you know, as long as you welcome them with you and you continue vibing on that, you know, that high note and that positivity, you're going to attract so many different people. And those that are toxic are going to wonder where you are. And you know what? Sorry. Bye. Bye.
No,
either come up with me or bye. Let's stay here.
And you know what? It's very interesting, because what you're speaking to as well, you know, as you go along in life, you might be something that you need to work on to reevaluate your levels of toxicity. But then you can see when other people of wonder and love and inspiration show up again, then it changes everything, that you realize, okay, maybe I've moved on to the next stage, which is good. I've cleared those issues, you know, that I'm dealing with, so I can move on. So I definitely want to leave you. And I know that was very inspirational, but I once again, I just want to encourage everybody to, hopefully, if you heard something really inspiring and enlightening, you know, take that and take it and implement it in 21 days of your life, 21 days to master a healthy habit, develop the skills that are bound to multiply the good in your life, which is really important. You know, certainly Jen is there. Contact her at @Diliz on Instagram. See what she's doing. It's really powerful. Get inspired. Don't sit on the sidelines. Engage in your life. One more thing, Jen, give us the final bit of inspiration today. I know you said something wonderful. I just want you to send us off tonight with some, you know, boost of energetic vibe that's going to take us to whatever heights that we decide to climb.
Oh my gosh. You know, I just want to say it again, you know, just get up, show up, and engage. Just go for it. Just do it. Just, you know, make a contact. Do that one thing that you were so afraid of doing. Do it. And face your fear dead on in the face and say, not today.
Not today. Not today.
I'm coming for you. You're not gonna overpower me. Not today. So just conquer that fear. Do one thing. And when you see how powerful it feels to know that it wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, it didn't hurt. Nobody pinched you. Nobody shot you.
Yeah, it's so face your fears, people. 21 days telling your fears not today, and you will have mastered an incredibly healthy habit that's going to take you into God only knows the greatest places that your dreams will unfold. So once again, thank you, Jennifer. This has been an amazing conversation, certainly extraordinary. I encourage everybody to follow her once again at Diliz and check out what she's doing with the Pet Squad, with MONAT, with everything, all of these wonderful service projects in Miami, and they will extend throughout the country. So definitely contact her. Remember, people, we're here to be the deliberate creatives of our life. Dream big, and let's all together raise the positive vibration on this planet so we can all live our bliss, enjoying the magic and the miracles and shining our light together. This is the last one in May, episode 38. Thank you, Jen, for joining me. This is wonderful. Certainly awakening creativity has been a beautiful, beautiful benefit for me this last month. Let's love ourselves, people, exactly where we are. Reach out to others as well to take them along and spread the love. Blessings and bliss. Good night, everybody. Thank you again so much, Jen. It's been a delight. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Bye,
everybody.